What is going on, my heavy hitters? Welcome to my square circle. Welcome to my channel. If you guys are new here, I do go by the name of BXBox, and I want to thank you guys for joining me and clicking on this channel. I try to drop content as frequently as I can, sometimes twice a week or once a week. But if you guys are not subbed up already, sub up. Sub up to the square circle. Hit the notification bell. Hit the like button if you like what I'm putting on. If you're not, hit the like button anyway. Support your local YouTubers. You know what I'm saying? And please comment in the comment section below. I love to talk with the comment community, all things positive, negative, your opinions, my opinions, your views, my views. That's what makes this community go round and round, all right? So I want to thank everybody for joining me today. Today, obviously, goes without saying, WandaVision talk. We're going to talk about WandaVision, episode number 6, the Halloween extravaganza, whatever you want to call it. It's getting crazy in WandaVision, and we're going to try to do it in a sequence as much as possible. There's a lot going on, so try to bear with me, guys. So we get the introduction. Of course, it's like Malcolm in the Middle feels like late 90s, early 2000s type of sitcom. And what I noticed in this intro, as opposed to other introductions that they did in previous episodes, this intro, we see Agnes in the intro. She has bent over in the refrigerator, got the naughty all on her cheeks. Is that meaning anything as opposed to a character being a naughty character in the storyline or in the show? Quite possibly. We know Marvel likes to throw little things like that in the universe, so I did notice that introduction, which I found very odd. She's never been in any other introductions for her sitcom shows, but she was in this one, so I was a little nod to that. As the intro does go on, we do see that this is a Halloween episode. Billy is talking into the camera with Tommy, getting their costumes ready. As we see that, we see them messing with their uncle. They're a little timid of him. He wakes up, he starts wreaking havoc. Wanda comes down, rocking the vintage costume straight out of the comics. And then they get into a little back and forth, Quicksilver and Wanda talking about their Halloweens in Sokovia. And I noticed that Wanda says, me and you have different memories. Like they remember two different things. We do know from last episode, we got the reveal of Quicksilver. Evan Peters from the X-Men MCU from Fox. And that's not the Quicksilver that we know from the MCU, which is Aaron Taylor Johnson, her brother. So I found that odd that they did have different memories. But nonetheless, the episode does go on. Vision comes downstairs rocking his vintage costume as well. And they're talking about how good Quicksilver is with the kids. However, Vision says he's on patrol duty for the neighborhood watch. Wanda quickly says, that's not what I had planned. And Vision says, what? Obviously, she did not have that plan for him in the show. She had other plans for him, and he caught that very quickly. And it seems as if she cannot control Vision any longer because he is growing mentally more like aware of everything that's going on around him. He knows something is off. We've seen in the past episode, he's not stupid. And in this episode, we do see that he does catch up, but that's further down. Billy then looks into the camera and says that Wanda has been acting different since Pietro, her brother, has come back. And I also noticed that was different too because it seems as if something is bigger at play here. And we're going to get into that into this video as well. But I feel like Wanda isn't the one controlling everything that's going on in the hive. There is a bigger power, more powerful than her, controlling the hive. She doesn't know everything that's going on. But again, we're going to talk later into that. Billy does also say that Wanda and Vision haven't been arguing, but they've been a little bit separated. Again, going back to him knowing something is wrong, him knowing that she might be pulling the strings. He's not stupid. He's noticing everything that's going on around him. So then we go back into regular reality, and we see that Hayward is very sketchy. He is very different towards superhuman individuals. And I highly believe it's kind of obvious. Everything since the snap, he has probably lost a loved one. Someone he knows got dusted, or maybe he got dusted when he came back. Someone he knew was gone. It's quite possible. But it's very obvious he is very anti-hero. Someone like Thunderbolt Ross trying to import the Sokovia Accords. Maybe something's going like that with here. We don't know. But something is obvious. He wants Vision. For whatever which reason, he wants Vision in his hands by any means necessary. He goes into a back and forth with Monica Rambeau, Darcy, and Jimmy Woo. Basically, he tells Monica I'm glad you weren't here when your mother was gone because you don't have the stomach for this. We do know you. I do know that you have had a history with Captain Marvel. You're very pro-hero. Get them out of my base. Quickly kicks Monica, Jimmy, and Darcy out of the base. And as they're exiting, what do we see? We see my boy Jimmy Woo kicking ass that we did not see him doing Ant-Man, knocking everybody out, taking the guns. Him and Monica going rogue with Darcy, grabbing some sword uniforms, trying to infiltrate. As we go back into the hive, we see that as they're walking down the street doing trick-or-treating, Wanda somewhat tests Quicksilver to see if he remembers anything from their childhood, because something is obviously very off. Quicksilver quickly picks up on that. He goes, "You're testing me. I know I look different. I know things are different." She's like, "You do look different. Why is that?" And he says, "If I were in the hills of Shangri-La, I wouldn't want to remember my past either." Shangri-La is from the comics. I'm probably pronouncing that right. Shangri-La. It is in Marvel's Mystery Comics number 45, founded by none other than Vision, who is the guardian of immortality, or he's the immortal guardian of Shangri-La. But nevertheless, Shangri-La and Vision do have a connection, and Quicksilver quickly mentions Shangri-La in the show. As they go on, Quicksilver runs off with the kids, wreaks havoc. Wanda bumps into Herb, and then she asks for Vision. Can Vision help you with that? He says Vision isn't on patrol duty today. Wanda found that very odd, but then what was even odder was what Herb tells her, or more odd. Odd is not a word. Something that was more odd. Herb tells her, "Do you need me to change anything for you?" This was very interesting to me because in a previous episode, if I'm not mistaken, episode number 3 or 4, probably number 3, you see that Agnes and Herb were talking, and they know something is wrong with Wanda. They know that everything is not normal. Is it quite possible that Herb is along with Agnes in this, that he's not maybe 100% controlled with his mind? He knows something's off. He knows that he's in a show. He knows that he's being played. We don't know. But I found this very interesting in the nuances that's going on, because she quickly shrugs him off like, "No, it's fine. Don't worry about it." So this is what we've noticed in the show. There are little leaks. As the show goes on, we see Vision walking around town, walking around Westview. And as he is noticing further out, he doesn't know he's in the hive. But as we see that he's walking out further in the hive, there are people there, still a part of this world, still a part of this reality. They are partaking in the reality because it's still Halloween everywhere he goes. But these people are stuck on a loop like a bad 90s CD in your CD player, just constantly skipping, keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. He finds that odd, but he's noticing something is not right. We quickly cut to the commercial that we do get in every show. This commercial is a commercial for yogurt called Yo Magic. There's a boy stuck on a very tiny desert island, clay made, just like in the 90s that you get. And a shark hands him a yogurt so he could survive. What I'm noticing from this commercial, what I took away from this commercial, me personally, I watched the episode twice. This kid is trying to open up the magic to survive. And he's not, and he dies trying. Is it quite possible that Wanda needs magic for all of this to survive? Because we all know if it goes away, it's gone. We don't know. It's quite possible. And this commercial pays forward later in the episode, and we're going to get onto that in quite a little bit. So from the commercial, we go back to Wanda and Quicksilver leaving the theater at the end of the night. It's still Halloween. And they're going to back and forth. She tells him, "Where's your accent?" He says, "I don't know, where's your accent?" They're going back and forth. They know something is wrong. He said he got gunned down the street for nothing, which is not true. He did save Hawkeye in Avengers Age of Ultron. So it's obvious this Quicksilver is not the Quicksilver that we know. His memory differs very much so from the one that we know from the MCU, which is very interesting to me. Now we cut forward to Monica, Jimmy, and Darcy going through the files in the sword base. And they, of course, they're coming across everything, and they're noticing that things are different. There's a few firewalls Darcy has to break through. And as they're doing that, we cut back into Wanda's reality, and we see Vision going further out, and he's noticing things are not right. So what does he do? He breaks out into his regular costume that we all know. He levitates himself. He looks out. He sees a car right at the end of the street. Who was in that car? None other than Agnes, the person who is always at the right place at the right time, right where she needs to be, very coincidentally. What I noticed in this episode too, everyone was dressed in their costumes basically the way they were supposed to be from their comic. You had Wanda in her vintage costume, Vision in his, you had Quicksilver in his, Billy and Tommy in theirs from the comic, somewhat Billy, not really Tommy. And everything was to go according to character. Agnes was dressed up as a witch. We all know in the comic, Agatha Harkness is a witch. Is it possible she's a good witch trying to mentor Wanda, or she's a bad witch pulling the strings with a higher being? It's quite possible. We do not know. It's just me rambling. Let me ramble on. So, what I also noticed was very interesting. As Vision was walking throughout the episode through the town, coming across people, he was trying to talk to people. No one was responsive to him. No one paid mind to him. It's like no one knew he was there. They were all completely on autopilot, but just very silent. As he bumps into Agnes in her car, he asks her, where is he? And she's fully responsive. She's like, I took a wrong turn. He quickly touches her head, brings her back into her regular state. She realizes something's wrong. She looks at Vision. She goes, you're an Avenger. You're an Avenger. Am I dead? He goes, why would you think that? She said, because you're dead. And she keeps repeating, dead, 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 getting louder. And then she says, all is lost, with a very menacing, witching laugh, as if something that bigger, of course, like I keep saying, something bigger is in play here. And I feel like that's really, really possible, because I did skip this. Let me go back. When they, oh no, I didn't. Yeah, I did skip it. Let me go back. Wanda and Quicksilver were talking, and they go talk, and then they say, Quicksilver tells Wanda, "How did you do all of this? Where's all this coming from?" And she says she honestly doesn't know. Now this pays back to episode number 5, when Vision is telling Wanda he doesn't know himself. He doesn't know what's going on. He tells Wanda, why are there no kids in this town? What is going on here? And she says, I do not know. And of course, at the end of episode 5, we all get the big reveal of Quicksilver. Someone rings the doorbell, and she tells Vision, I did not do that. Which makes me believe, even though Wanda is in this hive, and she created this false reality for herself, someone bigger is at play here, possibly helping her, or possibly put her there to keep her at ease. We don't know who it is. And I find that very interesting, because if she's really pulling everything, she will control everything. And she's not controlling everything. She can't control everything that's going in this reality. We've seen that. That is a constant consistency in this show. She is not in control of everything, even though she wants to be. So I really highly feel there's a higher being in this show. Will we get the reveal? It's quite possible. We don't know. Again, just me rambling, guys. Took too many hits to the head when I was boxing. Maybe I'm going crazy. Maybe I'm not. Just bear with me. So we then see that Tommy, or is it Billy, he feels, well, we're going to go back. After Agnes drives off, Vision keeps walking. He tries to go out the hive. He proceeds to get out of the hive. And we see Billy feeling his father's pain, which I found very cool, because we could see Billy's powers for the first time, very much like his mother. He's connecting, which makes me to believe, are Tommy and Billy actual people, not just figments of her imagination? Because if you're an imagination and you're a part of this show and you're not real, how can you know what's really going on the outside with soldiers and people leaving the hive, coming in and out the hive? He goes to his mother. He quickly tells her that. She tells him to focus, as if she's training him to use his powers. And he focuses. He says they think he's dying, which makes me to believe that Tommy and Billy are here to stay. They're not just figments of her imagination. They're going to be here for a very, very, very long time. And that's when we get the big ending. Wanda pauses everything. And what does she do? She expands the hive. Again, I've said this time and time and again. Wanda is one powerful, powerful mutant. And they are starting to show that in this show. They've done it because she's basically made a reality for herself. She's fostered or held people hostage, But now, by showing that she can expand this and make it even bigger, they're showing her true power. As she's expanding, you see the sword agents, and not only the sword agents, you see Darcy get stuck into the hive. We did not see what happened to Darcy, but we do see all the agents become clowns, mimes, things like that. And it's amazing to see that she can create anything like this just off a whim and just trying to focus as hard as she can. We see Hayward, he drives off. He tries to radio people to see if anybody has survived. No one answers him. And we get the cut of that episode. Now, guys, before we get to the end of that episode, I did forget something. Monica did get a text from this engineer, and that was her way back into the hive. Her and Jimmy go to try to find him. They go to drive off over the ridge. Maybe the next episode we get the big reveal of who that could be. A lot of people saying Blue Marvel is quite possible. Some people saying Hank McCoy. We don't know. I'm all for it either which way because Marvel's doing a hell of a job. One thing I do notice about Marvel, and I want to say this now, Marvel does not stick to the comics to the T. They tend to shy away from that, do their own thing, while throwing a bunch of Easter eggs from the comics for the comic people that appreciate it, because they really can't do a full comic storyline. They've never done that. They haven't done it with Civil War, Age of Ultron, Infinity Gauntlet. They do throw Easter eggs from the comics, or they do throw information from the comics, but they don't go full comic storyline, which I want everybody to remember that. But so far, this series has been great. I haven't had any complaints about it. This episode was very good to me. Not as good as the last one, but this episode was very good. And I'm pretty sure there's a few other things I did forget in this episode, but it was just a lot. But I enjoyed every minute of it, guys. And this brings my episode to an end. So again, guys, if you guys do like the content that I'm putting out, please hit the like button, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. I will try to drop content as frequently as possible. I keep saying that over and over again, but if you're notified, you will get it. And I want to thank you guys for joining me today. Thank you for hearing me ramble on and on. If you took this long to this video, I greatly appreciate it. And till next time, guys, y'all stay well.